Hi YouTube, we are back in remember in the last video we said we are going to rebuild the turbo and get the turbo going because we got the car and rebuilt the car except the turbo, and the turbo was leaking quite badly, so we knew that that was going to be the next step, but in order to do that we'll have to remove a lot of parts, and the engine was already quite nice. So after a little bit of driving and having to top up engine oil once in a while, we also had a small scare with the old engine oil slushing up at the bottom of the oil sump and finally knocking itself loose and blocking and clogging up the oil pickup point of the engine, and producing a low oil pressure warning light on the dash. Oil pressure meter also started to drop and showed that there was no oil pressure in the engine. Thankfully, the driver of the car knew that he had to stop the car immediately once he got that warning sign, and we managed to save the engine. There was no damage to the bearings, engine was fine, and since we've had to remove a lot of things and open up the oil sump to check out the oil slush in the engine, we went ahead and removed the turbo. So if you can see, its turbo is now out, and we tried to rebuild it because the turbo is such old technology, such an old turbo. We've got the old turbo out. We tried to rebuild it, but being such an old turbo, the parts for it was not readily available. So we scoured the interwebs and finally found a new new stock NOS, new old stock turbo in Netherlands, and thankfully we were able to make a deal. We bought the turbo. It took 3 weeks to ship, and thankfully it's the exact turbo that we need. It's the correct turbo, and it's amazing because it's brand new but it's old stock, and this is one of the first times we are also able to see the belly of this beast. Drive shaft of this torque shaft has been removed. Let's have a look at the underbelly of this car properly. Everything is in its stock position, nice and clean, no oil leaks, all the way back to the rear differential, the rear transfer case, sorry, transaxle, sorry, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm new at this YouTubing thing, yeah. We've got a lot of new bolts, new nuts and bolts, new washers, some slight oil leak down here, but I think we'll just use it a little bit more, get some mileage out of the car before doing other maintenance items, addressing other maintenance items. And yeah, we're actually quite happy with how the car runs, even with the leaking turbo. And that turbo was modified. I will show you how that turbo looks right now. We'll cut the clip, go straight to the turbo that was fitted on this car. It's the original turbo, but it was modified. There's minimal rust here, some rust in this mounting point. We may have to address that one day. Yeah. Okay. Some rust here. May have to address that as well. Superficial, this is nothing. This is nothing. On this side, totally clean. Beautiful. Very happy with that. Original horns. Oh, getting bright. Exposure. Maximum exposure. Okay, back to looking at brakes. Okay, so I'm gonna end the video here about our new turbo arriving, and we'll pick it up again when the turbo is being installed. Just let you see what other projects that this workshop has undertaken. Toyota Celica. This was commissioned by a UK customer of his. Car was shipped here in Malaysia and stripped, and now nut and bolt restoration. 2T engine, beautiful. This thing purrs, very nice. Air conditioning retrofitted. This car originally does not come with aircon, but it has air conditioning now. Full interior and exterior rebuilt with complete wiring. So this car is on its way. Once it's done, it will be shipped back to UK. Okay, so sorry, I had to cut the clip and come straight to the old turbo that we used to have. If you are familiar with 924 turbos, this will look very odd because it's missing the built-in blow-off valve. It's amazing. This old technology, old turbo, Bob Warner has finally incorporated the blow-off valve and wastegate into their turbo, right? But this car, built in it's a 1980 car, 1980 924 turbo, has its blow-off valve built into this turbo because this turbo now looks quite normal to the naked eye, to people who are not so familiar with what they're looking at. But this has been modified. I will show you what the stock standard turbo looks like. Everything on this turbo looks pretty good, but it was leaking as the shaft in here is already worn. It's journal bearings in this cartridge. Then the journal bearings in the shaft was worn, so it would leak oil through the turbo body from here. Alright, this turbo has been opened up and reassembled. It is not fit to be, it can be reused, but it will constantly be leaking oil, and we'll have to top up engine oil every, I would say, 1,000 kilometers. Every 1,000 kilometers we will have to top up engine oil. So now, cut to the original new old stock 924 turbo, Series 1 turbo. This is a Series 1 turbo, which means it has a smaller AR in the rear housing, which allows it to be less laggy, faster spooling, but not so powerful in the top RPM. The Series 2 turbos are slightly bigger AR housing at the back, little bit more laggy, but a bit more power in higher RPMs. This turbo will run out of puff towards higher RPMs, but it is better for city driving. So if you look at this and compare it to what we used to have here on the car, the blow-off valve is built in to the turbo. Amazing technology by Triple K. This part, I don't know why, it was totally cut off and removed. A huge decision made by the previous owner, and the end result was this. So this car hanging up here had its blow-off valve removed, running no external blow-off valve. And as you all know, this car doesn't come with an external intercooler, so you know, a lot of things were eliminated. Those things didn't come from factory, but this blow-off valve was eliminated. It's a recirculating valve, to put it in a more technical term. I just call it blow-off valve to make it easy and for people to understand. So amazingly, we were able to source this from Netherlands from a seller who has a few more of these turbos lying around. It's new old stock, amazing, very nice condition. Well, as he advertised, it is unused, and there's no free play in the shaft. It's fantastic, it's amazing. Can't wait to get this turbo back on. Now we're just a few days away because the turbo just arrived, and can't wait to get this baby on. Okay guys, it's happening sooner than I expected. It's just few hours after my update just now, but it's continuous improvement. So we are working on the car now, and if you look and see, the new turbo is already in its place. How good is that? Getting just needing to get it back in its original placement, and then adjust the inlet a little bit, adjust the outlet a little bit. We've got to clock the turbo. In other words, we just got to clock the turbo a little bit, get it in the right place, and then we'll have it boosting tomorrow. Looks like wastegate's doing fine. All the pipes are here. We're gonna get it done today. We're gonna get it done today. That's a for sure thing. For sure. Alright. Exciting times to ensue after this. Awesome. We'll give you an update soon again. Sorry, I just had to turn the flash on so that you guys see the turbo has been installed, and I missed the progression of the update on installing this turbo. But the turbo is in great shape. We're so happy with it. Performs very well. Just that now we are experiencing knock. The turbo is so efficient that the engine is knocking at between 3 and 4,000 RPM, and will not let us go above that. Well, we could, but it's a little bit scary, a bit daunting. We don't want to blow this engine, and we need to find out what is causing the lack of fuel being delivered to the engine. I'm sure if we installed an intercooler, this would prevent that from happening. So now we've gone ahead and disconnected this wire, which retards the engine 7 degrees. This was advised to us from a good Facebook friend which we met due to this video being made. Sorry, I just had to turn off the flash to get a better view of it. Yeah, we met a nice guy. His name is Cedric. Thank you very much, Cedric. We've disconnected this. We're going to try that and see whether the engine still knocks or not. We've tested the additional injector, and that thing works fine. And even with that at full blast, engine still knocking under load at 4,000 RPM. Yeah, we're quite sure if we were to install an intercooler, it will solve all these problems, but that's not what we want to do at the moment. We just want to get it fixed and sorted as it is, so that and we need to continue to troubleshoot. If any of you guys out there know how to solve this problem, we'll gladly trace it and chase it down to exactly to the details that you guys are going to advise us. But at the moment we're scratching our heads and have a little bit of a dead end. We don't know what to do. Well, this is it for today. We're thinking still. Let's work on it on our own and figure out how to solve this problem. Hi guys, we're now on the phase of completing the little small things for the 924 turbo. Mechanically, it should be it's running okay. It's not perfect because of a little knock between 3 to 4,000 RPM when boost starts to kick in. We have yet to rectify that problem, but we're addressing all the smaller things first at the moment. Aircon, as you can see, is out. We'll be replacing this condenser works, doesn't leak in all good. Aircon blower is getting rebuilt. Motor is dead. Actually it works, but it's just very noisy, so we're going to rebuild that. And as you can see, steering shaft is out, steering wheel's over there, all wiring has been rectified. That's where the shaft is. Of course, there is a lot of wear in the shaft ends on both sides. We will have to remachine this, and we are going to repair all the little bits that are connected to the steering shaft. There's a lot of free play and a little bit of knocking which needs to be eliminated. We'll replace this with a Teflon bush. We'll remake a Teflon bush replacement for this, and as well as this, we'll replace the bearing that's in here, and then we should be on the way. We're just waiting on the bearing that for us to mock up this little piece, because we can't get the exact same bearing that is required to fit here. We just need to get the closest possible matching size, pump it in here, lock it in, and we're good to go. So this car is just getting better and better. We're actually very excited. We're a few days away from finishing up this steering shaft issue, and then we'll start the car with this pulled off. We'll try and see if it still knocks between 3,000 and 4,000 RPM and above. Everything else has been checked, double checked and rechecked. Our extra injector that's in the back of that manifold works, where every time we turn it on, it floods the engine and the engine tends to want to die. So we're going to check timing again and adjust the little minute timing that we can over there, and hopefully be able to rectify our knock problem. So this is the update for now. Very, very small little update. Car still looks the same physically from the outside, but it will be fitter, better, stronger, faster the next time we go for a test drive. Till then, signing out. Bam! And now the steering column is complete. We've completed the sourcing of parts and machining of all the bushes that is connecting to the steering shaft to eliminate all the free play that is found and due to worn bits and pieces. So this is a poly bush that was made up from scratch, and even the bearing in there is replaced, and the Teflon bush, if we can insert the pictures, you would have seen, are all new. This bearing, original Porsche steering shaft bearing, is actually a controlled item, and we couldn't find it in Malaysia or in Singapore. Hence, we had to find a actual a ready stock bearing that we have here in Malaysia, overbore the housing, and put in a lock pin here to make sure that this bearing doesn't dislodge itself or come loose. So as you can see, it took a lot of work and a lot of time went into perfecting this shaft's movement and preventing all the free play that we were experiencing from this, which actually diluted the steering feel and the drive. So this was a very necessary restoration process, and we needed it done so that we could make sure that the drive and feel of the car would be as per factory, and we would be able to enjoy it properly. So if you can see, there is no more free play. There's no more free play. If I can get it in here nicely, I won't push it all the way in because we'll need to take it out and recenter the wheels. So once this is locked down, you'll see that there is literally minimal movement, very similar to a brand new car. Fantastic. Very, very impressed with the engineering. In fact, once we screw this down, we nut this down, there'll be no movement whatsoever. It's very impressed with the engineering, as I was saying, and the workmanship that netted this end product. Took a lot of time, and it was a huge effort from all parties. So now what's left to do is to reassemble everything. One more very impressive thing is we've sorted out the fuel pressure question that we had by installing a manual fuel pressure gauge right at the fuel filter. Look at it, it's spot on factory spec, 6.3 bar boost, 6.3 bar fuel pressure, which is exactly where we need it to be. So we're surely not down on fuel pressure. Car starts just one click, idles beautifully like a champion, and next thing we need to rectify is engine knocking, which is a huge issue, and we need to make sure that it doesn't happen anymore. So fuel pressure gauge is here. We'll be able to know and see what's going on all the time. Engine idles very, very well. We've disconnected this. We'll see how it drives with 7 degrees of retardation, and soon we'll get back on the road and rectify the final problem before making this a very, very reliable daily driver. Okay, we're 2 weeks into the shakedown of this 924 turbo. Just did some flybys, and hopefully we'll be able to insert it in the video later. Mechanically, this car is pretty solid. Nothing much needs to be retouched up in the mechanical restoration process of this car. It has worked flawlessly in the past 2 weeks. Hasn't missed a beat. Startup, cold starts, hot starts. Driving in traffic, heavy traffic situations, no overheating, oil pressure is nice. Everything's working, meters, counters, clocks, everything is working. And we're getting pretty good fuel mileage as well. I think on a full tank of 75 liters, I'm getting 600 over kilometers. There is only the small issue of engine knock between 2,800 RPM to 3,200 RPM, and then after that it becomes very nice, no knock whatsoever. Knock again comes on at about 4,200 RPM for a split second, just a quick knock while we are throttling the car. Gear shifts are smooth. Clutch fine, perfect. Never had an issue with launching this car. Suspension is supple, very comfortable ride. Aircon is cool. Steering is tight. Car handles, drives, and performs as it should. 924 turbo, Porsche did it right. Power to weight ratio, nothing to complain about. Very impressive for a car that's made in 1979. Quite peppy, not as laggy as I thought it would be. I think lag is an overstatement for these cars. It is as expected for an old school turbo. And the power delivery is pretty linear. It's not a progressive sudden kick of the turbo boost as a lot of people describe, especially in the 930s. I know this is a 931. It's different. It's more refined than the 930 turbo. and I think it's very usable as a daily driver. This car is really suitable for daily driving duties. I've cleaned it up. I've driven it for the past 2 weeks. I'm happy with the mechanical restoration that we've done on it. It's very reliable, and looking forward to future restoration on this car, which will be touch up on the bodywork and interior. Interior is very neat and tidy, all original at the moment, quite clean, nothing much that's broken, nothing much to be restored, just a slight touch up on the carpet and a little bit of a seat ripping on the side, driver's side only. Proper cleanup will do it favors definitely, but the most important and the main next step of refurbishment will be the exterior paint, bodywork. Aside from that, this car is good. It's good. It's not a minter, but it's definitely a daily beater. Good runabout car. You've got plenty, ample space in here. You can sit 4 if your 2 rear passengers are short children. Very comfortable. Huge boot space, very practical daily car to use. I can't reiterate that any more than I have. Serves me very well for my daily driving duties. Yeah, that's the report for now. Sorry for the bad camera angles and the shaky camera movement. Not a big time YouTuber. I don't have investment into all these camera mounts, and I just have employed my brother-in-law here to help me hold the camera. Well, this is me signing off for now. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe.